Right, so this is question 9 of my series on the question paper. It says find the term independent of x in the expansion of 2x plus 1 over x squared raised to the power of 6. Right. So I like to start off when I deal with this binomial theorem stuff by writing the general term. And the general term is the TR plus 1 term equals to NCR, or you can just write it in vector form, A, then you know that this is N minus R, and B to the R, where my A is represented by the 2x and my B will be represented by 1 over x squared. Okay, so what I'm also realizing is that we are, again, as I said, we know what N is, right? So N is that power of 6 there. But I'm not really interested in writing it first with the NCR. I'm going to take the 2 raised to the power of x, okay, I will say 6 minus r, and then the 1 over x squared can be written as x raised to the power of negative 2. The 1 I'm not going to worry about, but that's the x squared. So I'm just working with the ones that contain the x, all right? Because the constants will not help me at this case. I can just filter them out. So I'm working with the x terms there, okay? And if I clean this up, right, again, I do not want to work with the constant, so I'm going to leave that constant term out. So I'm going to have the x 6 minus r times x to the negative 2 power. Right, so all of this, if you know, familiar with the rules of indices, it's going to be 6 minus r minus 2. 6 minus r minus 2, all right? So this is cleaning up nicely as 6 minus, let me just write that down, okay? 6 minus, no, that should be an r, it should be an r, okay? So it's roughly as 6 minus 3r, so 6 minus 3r, and it should equal to, now the term independent of x is nothing but x raised to the power of 0. Okay, that's another way of working it out. Right, now I can drop the, what do you call it, I can drop the basis, and I'm going to say 6 minus 3r equals to 0, then r will equal to 2 once I have that value of r is equal to 2. Right, now what are we looking for now? So now we say 6c2, that will be 2x, 6 minus 2, and then I'm going to have x negative 2 raised to the power of 2. So this can actually be calculated, okay? And if I do calculate this, all right, I hope you still know how to calculate the 6c2. 6 choose 2, so that's going to be 15 times 2 raised to the power of 4. Okay, well, the other stuff is x to the power of 4, and the other one will be x to the negative 4. Eventually, this is going to give you 240 x to the power of 0. Okay, and therefore, because the question is asking us to find the term independent of x, that term would be 240. All right, 240. That's the term that doesn't have variable x in it. In the same vein, let's look at question 10. So in the expansion of 1 plus ax to the power 6, where a is a constant, find the coefficient, or they say the coefficient of x is minus 30. Find the coefficient of x cubed. Now, maybe before we find the coefficient of x cubed, okay, maybe before we do that, it's quite important that, because it says find the coefficient of x cubed. Maybe I'll take this way of explaining it. I know it's a bit long, all right, but this ultimately means 6 choose 0, and then you have a raised to the power of 6, and then you have ax raised to the power of 0. So I'm just rewriting it sort of the term 6 choose 1, then you have 1 raised to the power of 5, and a raised to the power of 1. Let's say we do another one. 6 choose 2. We have got 1 raised to the power of 4 and ax raised to the power of 2. And so I can continue, all right? But I'll realize that the one I'm interested in is this particular one here, because it will have the coefficient of x there. Not the other ones will have x as a square and so on and so on. So that is what I'm going to calculate. All right? So 6 choose 1. The answer is 6. I hope you still remember how to find that. 6 factorial, or 6 choose 1. The answer is just 6, right? So 6 factorial over 1 factorial, and that should be multiplied by 6 minus 1, which is 5 factorial. Alright, so remember that's 6 times 5 and so on. 1 factorial times 5 factorial. Well, of course, that cancel, and the 1 factorial is 1. The answer therefore is equal to 6. Alright, just rather use your calculator if you are check my previous videos on the factorial. So that is 6ax. If I look at this term, I'm going to get 6ax as an answer. So this is the only one that's going to have a coefficient of x. So what does that mean? So this is the term with x. Okay. So what does that mean? When we look at the coefficients of x, which is negative 30, all right, therefore I can say 6a should equal to negative 30. This is going to allow me to find the value of a. In this case, a is negative 5. So now that I have what the value of a is, so we are saying the term x cubed, right, that term there will give us 6 choose 3, and that is 1 cube and ax cubed. That is if I was to continue with my expansion that I had here on top, right? I would have the next one would be 6 choose 3, and then 1 cube ax cubed. That's basically what I mean if I were to continue with that. Okay, right. So where does this all leave us, right? So we can actually calculate. So this is 20. Okay, that is 1, and we know that a is minus 5, right? X cubed. So eventually it will be minus 2,500 x cubed. Therefore, the coefficient, because the question is asking find the coefficient. The coefficient, as you can see, the coefficient is minus 2,500. Okay, say the coefficient, right, of x cubed is minus 2,500. Okay, and that is how you are solving that question. Right, question 11, find the coefficient of x cubed in that expansion. Again, we are going to use the general term. All right, the general term, say the r plus 1th term, is going to be 7 choose r. Okay, and I know that 2 should be 7 minus r, and the other stuff, the minus 1/2 of x should be r to the raised to the power of r. But again, I am not going to care too much now about if you look at what we know. This is some constant. I'm not really interested in the constant term. I'm only interested in the stuff that have got the x in it, and it will just be that x raised to the power of r. And that should let it equal to 3. That means then r should equal to 3. So now I can actually work. All right. So there was no. It's pointless for me to work this out because I don't know what it is. So I'm leaving all these constants. I'm just looking for the term in x so that I can equate it with that one there, so that I can find what my r is. And now I have 7 choose 3. Okay, now that I know it, and then it's going to be 2 raised to the power of 7 minus 3, and then I have got minus a half. Okay, it should raise to the power of 3, and then x should also be raised to the power of 3 if I substitute that into my general term. Well, when you work it out, you have 35 times 16, okay, times negative 1 over 8, that is x cubed. All right, and well, to clean this up, you're going to get negative 70 x cubed. Right, so what is the coefficient therefore? We say the coefficient of x cubed is minus 70. All right, that is how that question is done.